Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kooplings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack for episode 317, titled When Bex is Away, Delvin Will Delay. What's going on, Delvin?
Don't leave. Beck's not here. We have Garrett instead.
Don't leave.
Don't leave. Not yet.
And joining us in the shack once again is our long lost brother, Garrett.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Going well, man. Thanks for jumping in.
The John Snow of PSVG.
John Snow
just leaves.
We're just leaving. Going rogue. Yeah,
Comes
for sure.
back.
Whenever, yeah.
Cool.
Delvin, tell me what happened.
This was a fucking mess.
Yeah, we're starting late today for reasons. And Delvin, please elaborate.
Y'all gonna get a PSVG story today. I'm sorry, because fuck this shit. So, every couple weeks, I go out with my girlfriend. We go out of town. Not really far, but we go out of town and hang out and spend time together.
Mox. Don't do that.
So we go to the hotel. Nice hotel we go to. I check in, right? So we check in. We're going to go put our bags up. And then we go out to go eat. So check our bags in and stuff, come back downstairs to get the car because they only have valet parking at this hotel. So I'm waiting for them to bring the car up. They're like, 30 minutes later, they're like, so we have a problem. I'm like,
uh-oh.
What do you mean you have a problem?
We
have a problem. So we think your key might have been loose. Like, what do you mean my key might have been loose? We broke your key in your ignition.
Wow.
We don't know how it happened. Like, what do you mean you don't know how it happened? You just said how it happened. You broke
I don't know how you do that.
Exactly.
How do you break a key in the ignition?
This is for those who watch. That's the old key. They were like, "Oh, you can still drive it."
They literally turned it and snapped it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's metal though.
Yeah, but it's not like strong metal. It's like little aluminum metal.
Yeah. So they were like,
and they probably didn't break. It didn't. I assume it didn't break the metal in half. It probably broke the metal off from the plastic holder.
It broke the metal off. You know how like certain keys when you press the button.
The key fob, yeah.
The key fob. It broke the metal off
the
key
one.
fob.
Yep, I have the same one.
So I'm like, how did this happen? They're like, oh, I was trying to turn the ignition and it wouldn't turn.
Yeah, you just turn it as hard as hell.
So they turned it as hard as hell and it broke. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, what a terrible way to start a day.
So I'm already mad. I'm like,
right?
So how can we fix this? I'm sitting there arguing with the guy because I'm like, I didn't do it. Like, motherfucker, yes, you did. You are the one who had the car. It wasn't broken when it got here.
You absolutely
I got
did this.
here, and now it's broken. So he's like, well, we'll call the supervisor. Call the supervisor. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go over and eat because they had like a restaurant in the place, and it was terrible. I didn't want to
get you.
I'm like,
keep him here. We didn't make enough money off of him. Break his key.
My girl was like, you don't want to eat? I'm like, absolutely not. I'm fucking furious at this point. And then so it gets to the point like, you know what? I'll eat some soup. I like soup. I'll eat some soup. So as soon as the soup gets here,
soup's not a meal.
It's not a meal. You're right. So I take one bite of the soup. The guy calls me. Hey, I'm outside. I need to talk to you about the car. Like, I'm eating fucking soup. Like, yeah. I need to come here.
Soup.
So I go out there and I'm talking to the guy for about an hour. I'm furious at this point. He's
Soup's
like,
cold.
Well, I got bad news and bad news. We called a locksmith. He's not going to be here till 9 a.m. tomorrow to fix your lock. I'm like, that's the whole fucking day. I have no car. Like, oh, we can just Uber you places. Like, so you want me to fucking call you every time I want to go someplace? No, I don't want to do that shit. Like, hey, can you Uber? Like I'm a fucking kid. Like hey, can you Uber me here, Dad? Like, no, I don't want to do that.
Why was that a solution?
Yes, because I'm like,
why didn't they just provide you a rental car?
That's what I was thinking. Like, because apparently the hotel and the car service are two different places.
Of course, yeah, but still, it's a car service.
Yes, they were like, like we can just Uber you wherever you want to go. Like, I don't want to do that shit.
That's absurd.
That's absurd. Stay here before I do that stupid shit. And they were like, well, we'll have the thing. And this is the thing that even drove me crazier. They were like, look, we're going to have the locksmith come out, but you have to pay for your key and we'll reimburse you. I say, the fuck you are. So how does that work? You break my key and you're like, we'll reimburse you later. Like, no, we have to run an investigation. Like, what investigation does need to be run? You broke my key. Like that. This is not the first fucking 48. We don't have to get like detectives out here for this. You broke my key. Like, yeah, this policy. I'll say, fuck your policy.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he said, well, I'll go half. No, you will pay for this key.
This sounds like it only happens in Florida. Like,
yes,
it's the most jank thing
how you
ever.
break somebody's shit and be like, oh, well, we gotta do an investigation.
I'll do half.
I'll do half. Like,
I'll do half.
Like, no, that's not how it works.
I just feel like, I don't know. This is old man me sounding. I'm getting older by the podcast. It does feel like maybe customer service is like, this is indicative of customer service these days. I'm sure there are people that are still doing it correctly, but it feels like just generally across the board, it's not like that great these days as it used to be.
I agree. I 100% agree with that statement because I've been going to plenty places and I say the same thing every time because they do this thing now where they add gratuity on to your bill. I'm like,
not the gratuity again.
We're going back to it, Donnie. Goddamn right we are. Like, why the fuck
not again? Like, if you're broke, just say you're broke.
No, absolutely not. Because I have money. I have goddamn money. But I want quality goddamn service.
So no, I ran into the issue with the delivery services. I just stopped using them. They were so bad, at least here. Yes. And I ordered dinner a few months ago. It was like kind of like the last straw for me. And I really just kind of tailed off using them generally because I would either like just not get the things that I ordered or be wrong, be missing things.
I had that too.
Right. And I ordered one time. It was I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe last time I tried to ordered dinner for me and Jack. Jack loves Asian food. So I got us like some rice and some sushi and, just like the works. Ordered it ahead of time. Ordered it on my lunch break at work. It was going to be delivered at 5:30, like right when I got home. Guy walks up, hands me a bag. I noticed, like just generally looking at the bag, I was like, this isn't all of it. Like this can't possibly be the order.
Yes, happens to me all the time.
I look at the bag. This doesn't blow your mind. Not only was it not what I ordered, it was for a completely different customer with a woman's name. It wasn't even from the restaurant that I ordered it from. It was from a completely different restaurant. And I was like, excuse me, sir. Did you grab the wrong bag out of your car? He was like, no, that's it. I was like, this can't be it. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, this isn't even the restaurant that I ordered from. He had the audacity. He was like, maybe they switched the bags.
What?
Not even my name.
Right. I was like, this is somebody else's order.
So the customer's wrong.
I was like, did you just
Karen? Like, no.
And so I called the company. He's like, you just got to call. So I do. And I'm like, yo, dude just showed up. We don't even have dinner right now because I didn't want the food. I told him to take it back. I was like, no, I'm not taking this person's food. They're like, okay, well, we'll refund you your money, but it'll take 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what is that? That does nothing for me right now. We're hungry. And they're like, that's it. Like, how can that be it? You've just screwed up all my dinner plans for today. You've taken my money with the promise of giving back to me later. That's it? They're like, yeah, that's it. I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to do this again. Like from that point forward, I was like, that's it. I'm done with this. This is over.
One of my favorite stories of ordering food is when I think I told Dev this story because I used I'm gonna call out DoorDash a lot. I order my food, right? And DoorDash has a little thing when it tells you where the car is at, right? So I watched the car go into the place where I was ordering the food. Then I watched the car leave and go in the opposite direction of my house until it's off the map. So I'm like,
just drove away.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, so I messaged DoorDash, like, hey, the person who has my food is gone. Like they're not even on the map. Like they're like, and it's like, oh, just wait a little longer. I'm like, it's been an hour. I don't think they're coming back. like I ordered my food. And they're like, we're gonna keep this food.
Yeah.
Like, and they were saying like, "Oh, you want us to give you money back?" No, I want my goddamn food.
Yeah, that's it. It was like,
Yeah,
no, I ordered for a reason. I'm invested the time in at this point.
Yes, I've waited an hour to eat, and
Yeah.
now at this point, I'm all in, and I really can't go anywhere else to eat. So
Mm.
you fucked me over. You know,
Yeah.
well, we can
So I
give
just
you
quit.
money back.
So anyway,
It's not-
Dylan or Garrett, do you have any short stories you want to get out on?
Well, delivery wise, it's been more or less okay in San Francisco.
See, San Fran's where it's at. They got this
Yeah,
down to a
like
T.
well, you got a lot of people in like mopeds and motorcycles. They just kind of like whiz around traffic, and it's like, hey, here's your food, and just go. But it's just so expensive. I think it's just more expensive here than Florida or Georgia because they have like mandatory like state tax, like
Oh, I'm sure.
restaurant, like related.
Isn't just
fees.
everything more expensive there? And that seems to just
Yeah.
be the general.
Yeah, on average, you don't even
Isn't
want to look
gas
at
like
houses.
$6 there?
Yeah.
It's close. It's like
Yeah.
well, actually, it's $4.95 right now. It's pretty cheap.
That's pretty cheap. $4.95.
Yeah,
$4.95.
it is.
Yeah,
And
people
then,
in Atlanta would be losing their minds if it was $4.95.
We'd be
Oh,
walking everywhere.
okay.
if it's
They'd be like,
$4.95.
we need to vote for somebody else.
I was
Yeah.
saying
Yeah,
state
man.
tax. Let me tell you, it's freaking robbery in California.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
really bad. So, but
Well,
yeah.
to get us off of this diatribe, how you been, man?
Yeah, how you
I've
been?
been good. I haven't been playing much Switch. I think the last thing I played was
No. Not about game.
What?
How are you?
Not about
How have
game.
you been?
How am I
You haven't
doing?
been here for a minute. I could care less
Yeah,
about
you
the
left
games, man.
us.
Okay,
you-
all right. Let's
yeah.
just get into my life. Well, we just moved across the bridge. So we were in San Francisco. Now we're in East Bay. Last week, so we're at a new place. It's really nice. It's outside the city, so yeah, I've been good overall. I've been hanging out with Ryan, at the RPG Cave.
Yeah.
Or at
Okay.
Carpool Gaming.
You guys are living it up. You've got all the games, the Final Fantasy games, the Dogma games, so many games.
Yeah, we're playing all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask both of you a question.
Uh-oh.
Sure.
Garrett said he in the East Bay.
Yeah.
So, Donnie, what's the first thing you think of when you think of East Bay?
What do you think of East Bay, Donnie?
The first thing that comes to your mind. I asked this for a
Nothing.
reason. Because the first thing that came to my mind was the magazine that came out in the 90s that was called East Bay that had all the shoes in it. You never
I
seen
didn't
this?
know that.
No.
I think it's from San Francisco. I think it's from that area. But it was a magazine
Oh,
called
okay.
East Bay that they would send to people like every few months and stuff. And you ordered shoes from it. It was like a big thing. Like, people used to get Jordans.
It's better because my answer was going to be Old Bay seasoning. That's like the
Oh,
first thing that I
okay.
think of.
So
Oh,
when Garrett said it, the first thing I thought, oh, is that the place where the shoes came from? Like the East
Probably.
Bay shoes. Like, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
Probably. I don't know.
But
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
just,
He's
that
like,
was
do you
like a-
remember this 1992 shoe publication?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
that was
don't,
before I
Delvin.
was
I
born.
remember it because it was like a staple in black culture.
I was 4.
Yeah.
Everybody-
East Bay's like
got that mag.
the definition of East Bay. It's like the whole side, across the body of water between San Francisco and Oakland. Like, so it's like Oakland all the way down to San Jose. Like
Okay.
that section. Yeah.
I wonder
Nice.
if
Go
that's still
Dubs.
around.
What was that?
I
I
wonder
said
if it's
go
still around.
Dubs.
All right. What's
Dubs.
Dubs? Is that another sports team? I don't know. No.
Of course
Okay.
it is.
Correct.
Correct. There's so many sports teams around here. It's like you
The
gotta come up
Warriors,
with
man.
one.
Golden State, Oakland.
I know
Dubs.
Warriors. Yeah. Dubs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
W, Dubs. We're going to get you there, Garrett.
I just know
We're going to
Dubs.
get you there.
Oh,
Maybe.
there we go. East Bay shut down and merged into Champ Sports. So it's
Okay.
now Champ Sports.
When did that happen?
Last year.
Wow.
Oh.
Well,
They
there
just
you go.
closed it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I wear Crocs. Like, I wouldn't know shoe catalogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You
can
just-
get those at the flea market.
Went
I
to
could
rock bottom.
care less about the shoes that are on my feet. Seriously.
You don't have to look at
If you're wearing Crocs, then yeah, definitely
They're great. Comfortable. My feet don't hurt.
functional.
Like, perfect. Whatever keeps my feet from hurting, man. I'd wear whatever. I don't care. I'd wear mayonnaise if it made my feet not hurt. So
Sure.
I
Sounds
can't,
good.
I do not care what they look like. Not about the
It's
shoe game. We've talked about
slippery.
this BSVG for
Mhm.
some
Yes.
time now. I've never
been.
been into the shoe game.
Even in
Um,
public, like you just go in the malls. Here's my Crocs.
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
In public.
Cool.
Just go to
Cool.
work with them.
Okay, sounds
Yep.
good.
So what are you playing?
I'm playing Dragon's Dogma 2 right now, so
Yeah.
not a Nintendo game. I've been just only playing a few hours, so I'm not really too far into it, but it's definitely Dragon's Dogma. If
Yeah.
you,
Is that a good
I don't
thing
know
or a
if
bad thing?
it's good. Yeah, it has all
Okay.
the jank with it, but
Yeah. For me,
it's
I wouldn't say it's a
yeah.
bad. Like, I didn't like Dragon's Dogma the time that I played it a whole lot, so I haven't been all that interested in Dogma 2.
Yeah, I understand. And it's more or less the same as the first game, just kind of like, updated quality of life
Super
stuff. So,
pretty.
yeah, it's pretty. It's still, the frame rate's not the best in the world, but on console it's stable. So, yeah, so
I
if
heard Haley said
yeah.
that in our Discord, and I've listened to a couple podcasts or
Mhm.
maybe like discussions on YouTube about it, and I've heard anything but that. Like every opposite thing is that the frame rate is kind of all over the place. That it moves a lot. There's a lot of fluctuation.
There's a lot of fluctuation in the frame rate, but at least it doesn't crash compared to
Okay,
PC.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
had one person. They were like, "Look, I'm totally fine to play a game at 30 or 24 if it's
Mhm.
stable." They're like, "The problem is that it'll go from 28 to 40 to 26 to 37. Like
It
it just
will.
kind of keeps going up and down across that range."
Yeah, that was my experience with Final Fantasy 16 as well. So I think I just kind of gotten used to it. Like when
Mm.
you're like if you're really like close in view, there it's like close to 60. Like if you're not, rendering much frames, but when you go like far rendering distance, it does chug a little bit. But overall, it's still playable to me. It's people don't know it's a third person action RPG. I would say it's very similar to Skyrim in a sense of you're exploring like this whole vast open world and you have the story going on.
Skyrim,
Um,
but Japanese.
but Japanese,
Yeah.
yeah, you got that monster. You really have that Monster Hunter
Right.
like combat where you have like a party of people called pawns, which is kind of like your AI companions, and you just go around the world and like shoot down griffins and dragons and goblins and whatever, and then you choose.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, you kind of choose your class in the beginning, but in this game you could switch it around compared to the first game. You're only stuck with one class. So I'm starting with an archer, but there's like many other vocations you can kind of unlock as you go along. I think another cool, unique thing about this game is that the pawn system or your companion system can be uploaded into their system or whatever, and other people can download the pawns. And so these pawns are like has their own pawn ID, and they
Like
have
roster sharing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like roster sharing, and people customize. Like it's a good character creation, so people just create some wacky stuff, like crazier than Fallout 4 stuff. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, overall pretty good. I've
I
been
re-
enjoying it.
I remember the first one was like bowling shoe ugly. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was like, is this one
It's
better?
no, I would say it's still pretty much that kind of jank ugliness right
Yeah.
now.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was just ugly game. Very ugly game.
Well, I would say like if you look off in the distance, it looks great. It has a lot of foliage, a lot of textures or whatever. But you go into the characters, and you're just like, yeah, it gets a little
Squint your eyes.
Play-Doh.
Like, looks good
Yeah,
enough.
the mouth
I
doesn't
heard
look great.
I heard that this was built with RE Engine.
Yes, it is.
Is this their first attempt at doing open world with RE Engine, or did they do that with Monster Hunter?
They did it with Monster Hunter Rise.
That's what I thought. I heard
yeah.
multiple people say it was their first open world game, and I'm like, no, it's not.
Well, Monster Hunter Rise is a open zone, you could say, because it just goes from one hub to the next. It's not like open world.
So it does load in. Okay, well
Yeah.
maybe that's the delineation then.
Not an
Yeah.
ugly game.
But I never really like Monster Hunter Rise was like kind of incredible the way it runs, right? It's like this is
It's
actually
pretty
pretty
good.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was built for Switch.
Right.
Like it originally released on Switch, very stable 30 frames, and then now it's on PC and Xbox and PlayStation.
I wish
so.
they released I would like to try Dogma 2. Like a
Mhm.
trial or a demo. I would like to maybe take it for
That
a
would be
spin.
cool. I'm surprised that they didn't. I guess Capcom doesn't really do it that much. They do some
Every Resident
demo-
Evil has a demo.
and Monster Hunters do as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do one later. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
Just wait 6 months. It'll be like $20.
Yeah. I'll put it in Donny Pass.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm playing I'm still playing Red Dead. Like more often than not, when I have more than an hour to play something, I'm playing Red Dead. But I have been taking my Switch with me to work because now that
Oh,
we're
wow.
still activated, but we're back in our offices now. We're not in the EOC all together anymore. So now I'm in my office. Like usually, I'll eat on my lunch break, and I'll just eat at my desk, and usually play some games. Either play something on my Chromebook or the Switch. And I've been playing on my Switch. So I picked up Mortal Kombat 11 on sale, which I asked Delvin about. I actually found that to be surprisingly pretty good. It's not
That's
Mortal
great.
Kombat 1. This is the old one, but they had the Ultimate Edition. It's like $7-8 for all of it, like everything. I was like, okay, I'll just do this and play around because Jack likes Mortal Kombat. So I took that for a spin. You know, it's kind of edgy, but outside of that, plays well. Like it plays
That's all that
fun.
matters. Yeah, that's great then. Mortal Kombat
Um,
11 is a good game. Great game, I'd
I've
probably say.
randomly, for no reason that I can even explain, I was just looking for something to play, and not like I want to get into like, you know, a 40-hour game looking for something to play, something I could pick up and put down. I randomly just started playing SteamWorld Dig again.
Oh,
It's just
cool.
got to be like the most addictive game I've ever played. Like you just start
Mhm.
playing, you're like an hour goes by, you're like, oh shit. So it looks great on the OLED. I think maybe that was
I'm sure.
because I played it on 3DS and I've
Me too.
only played it on 3DS.
Mhm.
So for whatever reason, when I came across its tile in my library, I was like, oh, I could just play this for a minute. I wonder what it looks like on the OLED. And I started playing and I just didn't stop playing it for like 4 days. I just kept playing it. So,
Nice.
but I did pick up a game recently that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Got it the night before last, is on sale. And it's a game called Wavetail. This was a Stadia game that I was interested in Stadia. And it was like, I don't remember exactly, but in my mind, it came out after I pulled the plug on Stadia. Before, you know, definitely was out before Stadia pulled the plug, but before, like, it came out right around or just after when I pulled the plug on Stadia. And it was exclusive and it's been ported to consoles. And I'm really digging it. I'm playing it on Switch. I think it was like, I don't know, 10, $12, something like that. It's like, it's hard to explain.
It's a beautiful
You
looking game.
kind of surf waves. So in that regard, it's like almost Tony Hawk-ish. Like maybe even like Wind Waker vibes. Like you're like this. It's like a 3D platformer. There is combat. The combat is as basic and like rudimentary as it gets. So I wouldn't even focus too much on that. It has combat. It's just more or less you go and press the button a couple times. But it's really the traversal. Like the world is like flooded. You know, you think of like this Wind Wakery world,
Oh, that looks
and
cool.
your character just kind of zips across the waves, and you go around this world like kind of almost like Mario Odyssey, like freeing these islands from like this gunk that like encompasses like boats and people and stuff. And there's like little platforming things you can do, and there's like a little grapple, you know, like it's nothing amazing. I'm not, you know, it's not gonna blow your mind or anything. This is very like PlayStation 2 era 3D platformer game, but it is fun and it is very good.
It looks good. Looks fantastic, actually.
I'm sure it looks 1,000 times better on something that isn't Switch. I've only played it portably, but portably, like, you know, it's soft and fuzzy, but like, and there are times where it gets a little choppy. You know, it's an indie game. Or actually, I didn't even think it's a Thunderful. I
It's
learned.
Thunderful development.
I didn't even know that until after I started playing it. I was like, who made this? It's Thunderful.
There's a demo on it on
they're
Steam.
indie.
If people want to
Oh,
try
nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm looking at it.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it a lot. It's
How much
pretty
is
fun.
it on Switch?
Like I said, I think I got it for like $11 maybe.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
buy it on Switch because everywhere else is $30.
Yeah, I think it's like half off or 60% off or something on Switch.
Yeah,
And
cool.
I jumped into it the day before yesterday and just kind of kept playing it. And I played it last night. Your key thing actually worked out well for me because I stayed up real late last night to watch the Australian Grand Prix, which went live at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Woo!
And so I was sitting there playing this while watching the race, and the race was excellent. I'm so glad I did because it was like the best race in like 2 years. Because Max
Wow.
went out on the first lap, and then so did Hamilton. So then like chaos, and so like everybody had a chance to win all of a sudden. So it was pretty fun in that regard. So that's what I've been playing. What have you been up to, Delvin?
Only thing I've been playing is Alone in the Dark.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I
Why?
haven't played enough of it to make an assessment of it.
Delvin, why do you always play bad games?
This is what I've been waiting for because I like the original series.
Yeah, he's been into this one since the demo.
okay.
It's like it was before Resident Evil. It was a horror series, and they were basically remaking it in the style of the Resident Evil games. So
with the dude from Stranger Things.
Yeah, so this sound right up my alley. And I've been playing for 45 minutes and experienced 0 combat. So that's kind of weird. A lot of plot building. Found a lot of ammo. So I guess they're gonna have me shoot something in a minute. But it's a lot of
collect
walking
these
around.
bullets.
It's very puzzle centric so far. Like, hey, and it's dumb puzzles. So it's almost like plot filling. Like, all right, hey, I found a key, or here it is. Hey, I need a key. Oh, the key's right over there. They don't even hide the key. It's like in a box, like in the corner. Like, oh, here's the key. Turn the lock. Okay, I'm going through it now. Oh, I need another key. Where's the key? Oh, it's right on the other side of the room. Grab the key, turn the lock, keep going. Like, okay,
Yikes.
when are we gonna get to some good stuff in the plot, like developing and things like that? So no action yet. I finally got to a point where I'm talking to somebody in the house because apparently in this world you can just walk into people's houses and it's not a problem. People live in this house. And they're like, hey, the game started like, hey, the door's locked. We should just find a way in. Find a way in because you're playing as David Harbour and this other character. I can't remember her name. And find a way in. You get in the house and you're looking for the residents in the house. But while I'm looking for the residents in this house, I'm just taking all their type of shit. They're finding random bullets, finding keys, and just picking them all up. Then finally I get to the point in the house where the story's supposed to progress. Like, hey, you're not supposed to be in here. Well, I've been in the house for 45 goddamn minutes and no one stopped me. So I don't know what to tell them. Like, hey, you need to leave. Like, oh, I'm a detective. Like, oh, it's okay then. Like, oh, okay,
wow.
This is weird.
Sounds fascinating, Delvin. Sounds super fun.
Are you gonna continue playing this game?
I am, because I want to see what the combat's like.
Okay.
I'm here for it. I'm sure. Let's do it.
I want to see
do it.
What the combat's like, and if it's fun, if it's like Resident Evil, is it kind of like that kind of thing? I might be all in because I've always wanted, and we got a few, like a decent Resident Evil clone. You know, we've had like the Daymare series, which is okay, but most of the time we don't really get like Resident Evil clones, and when we do, they're like really, really bad. So I'm like, if we get like a modern, decent Resident Evil clone, I'm fine. I can play that. So we'll see. Hopefully, this is it.
Hopefully.
Okay.
What are the reviews like? I heard it's rough.
Not good. Yeah, not good.
Everything I've seen from low 7s to 2s.
Yeah, that was my expectation after playing the demo. I played the demo myself, and I was like, "This is going to be bad."
Yeah, I played the demo. I'm like, this makes no sense.
Yeah,
and then
this is going to be bad.
I'm thinking when I start playing the game, like, oh, it's clearly going to start the game and explain what happened in the demo. Like, no, it didn't. like I don't know why. What was the purpose of the demo then? Because it tells me nothing. So like, all right,
yeah,
we'll just see.
That Wavetail game. Sorry to cut you off. I was also thinking, I just reminded myself. It reminds me a lot of the Pathless.
Oh yeah, because it's
that?
like you're kind of running.
Yeah, like surfing.
Across, surfing.
Yeah, I love the Pathless. That's why I bought the game. When I saw the game on sale, because it was a bit in my wish list, I must have come across it at some point. And every so often, I'll just open my wish list and see like what's on sale. Right. So I opened my wish list, saw this was on sale, clicked into it, saw the video again, I guess. And I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of the Pathless. I'll try it for $10. And it doesn't seem to be as good as the Pathless right now, but it's still but good enough. For $10, I'm not too upset about it.
Cool.
Annabelle wants to talk on the mic. What do you have to say, Annabelle?
Sometimes,
all the
man.
time.
Yep. Anyway. All right. So that's what we've been playing. We'll get into the news. The first one is a bit interesting. I checked on this right before we hit record on the show. MLB The Show on Switch, the new one, MLB 24, is like broken. And I'm not sure if anybody's seen this. They posted in the Discord. There are Switch players everywhere on Reddit and Twitter that they boot up the game and then the game crashes and it restarts and they get back to the login screen and they try it again and it does it the same thing and it keeps doing it. And to my knowledge, there doesn't appear to be a fix for it yet, which is a lot because the game came out several days ago. So like it didn't just come out yesterday. This has been 4 or 5 days in the making.
That is
it a
catastrophically
connection issue or like a
I have no
graphics
idea.
issue?
I have like
So
I've seen
weird.
I saw it on Reddit and I was like, okay, they'll patch it today. And then like I checked the day I was doing notes and people were still complaining. And I checked this morning and people were like, it still doesn't. I was like, oh my goodness.
I would be
Like,
furious.
Yeah, like how? Because Nintendo didn't have the refund policy either. So yeah, just
That
be on
sucks.
the lookout, guys. If you were thinking about it, hold off on buying the show on Switch right now.
How was the previous ones? Like 23? Did you guys play that? The MLB
I never
Show?
did, but
Nope.
Super Nintendo, Chris, he's done it a few times and he shared some video and
it's just rough. It's just
Yeah.
like go play on something else, please.
But as I understand it, people get it on Switch to grind. Because they're cloud saved, I guess, or cross save. So people will get the Switch version to grind out whatever you grind out in the show, like the mode or whatever, and then play back on the TV. So it's almost like it's like an expensive companion app.
I have learned if there's any sports games on Switch, just don't play them.
That's not true at all.
Nah,
There's a lot of sports games that are fine.
Nah.
Well, I'll tell you this. NBA 2K is pretty decent on Switch.
It's better.
Oh, okay.
I remember when it first came out, it was terrible. And they fixed that one.
I owe through 3 or 4 of them, and they're pretty good. Like they're as good as the Apple version. Like they're adequate ways to play in the game. I also like, well, I don't know, like I love Retro Bowl and stuff. Like the
those I don't count those.
Okay, you mean like
the third party ones that's on other consoles, things like Madden, which never come to Switch now. They just
we don't have. I think FIFA's pretty decent on Switch too. Actually,
that's what I hear too. Yeah, and like every soccer player wants to play that, and like they just travel around. It's like, oh, I have my Switch. I could just play FIFA. And just go from there.
I don't know. Honestly, don't even know how many other ones there are in terms of major ones. Like I kind of get the gist of what you're saying. Like I don't think the show has been very good. I know the WWE game wasn't good at all.
No,
but like I don't think that's indicative of sports games overall. I actually just wish there were more. I wish there were more of them.
I do too. I wish they would take their time and make them work. Personally, I think Switch is the perfect console for those type of games. Like
if 2K can run, surely these other games can run.
Yeah.
If 2K can do it, I think it's just a matter of 2K put in the work to get their game down as much as possible. And it probably helps that they're doing the Apple, the iOS conversion too. They're probably working off of a different place versus WWE and whatnot.
Just the idea of taking those type of games with you everywhere you go sounds awesome. Like WWE, 2K,
Switch
2K.
2.
Yeah, Switch 2. I guess it'll be a reality.
Switch 2. Princess Peach Showtime released this week. Metacritic's hovering around 75. Just about
what I expected.
I think it's about what most people expected.
Yeah.
Have not played it yet. Gave my daughter to play it, so I'll find out.
Oh, cool. Donnie, did you get it right?
No. If you didn't hear,
okay.
I probably made some folks angry. I played the demo and was out I did finish the demo, but I was like, this is not very good.
Yes.
Now, I want to be clear. It's not terrible. It's just not like Nintendo good. Yeah. This is like totally fine indie game, decent. I would say decent, not good, decent. But it's not Nintendo good. It's not like Kirby good. It's not Yoshi good. Like to me, it's a significant drop below that.
Yes.
And that bums me out as much as it may bum other people out to hear me say that. I'm bummed too. If you don't listen to BSVG or Shaq frequently, I have wanted to like this game since it was announced.
That is true.
I was planning on using a voucher for it. And let me tell you, this thing is not voucher worthy.
Yes.
Even if you find like something good in it, I still don't think it's $60 worthy.
It's a Nintendo 7 and everybody else is 5, essentially.
That's 100. Like that was when I saw the Metacritic, I was like, if this was any other game, like if you just removed, like people would be way harder on it, but because it's not, and like I'm not saying it's unfair. I think Nintendo's earned that. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, but I 100% believe that this game is reviewing as well as it is because of the IP and Nintendo.
And the developer's not Nintendo. It's Good Feel. And
Yeah.
they do other Nintendo
This is
stuff.
less than this
It's
isn't
less
as good
than
as Yoshi Crafted World. Like this is
Right.
less than that. Like it's very
Interesting.
here's the thing. I mean, I'll give you some impressions from the demo, and then I'll also give some impressions from the reviews that I've seen. It's very short. You can beat the game in 5 or 6 hours. The demo, when I played it, is very contained. Like it's extremely linear. It's made for like little kids. There's nothing wrong with that, but like there's invisible, like you can only progress. Like there's no like wrong way of really doing it. You know, like the combat times and everything are not, you know, like it's just very basic. And for me, it's doing all of those things and also not running well. It's soft.
That's not good.
The resolution's funny. It's the animations, like the cutscenes, the animations are choppy. Like they're kind of skippy, you know, it's like it's not very good. Like I feel very confident in saying that, like objectively, if you were looking at it like that, it's not very good. Now that doesn't mean you can't find fun in it. You know, if you're the type of person's like, I don't care about that, right? Obviously you can be like, this is fun, or my daughter liked it, my son liked it, like my kids like it. I'm not telling you that can't be possible, but my kids don't play those games. And 38-year-old me is not going to sit down and play this for $60. Like it's just not going to happen. And that bums me out as much to say as I think it does maybe some other folks to hear it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope your kids love it, Delvin, and I hope everybody else does. Everybody that buys it does too. I would wait for a sale. Like this thing screams to me like you can pick this thing up cheaper later on. You know, it feels like a filler title.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what I'm gonna do with my voucher.
Unicorn Overlord? Is that voucher?
I can't. I literally the day I played the demo, I was like, I'm just gonna buy Unicorn Overlord because that's what I want to play. It's not available for the voucher.
Wow.
So it's
it's not voucherable.
It's not. Yeah.
So like,
okay,
I could just buy it, but like I have the voucher, so I'm just kind of like in this wait and see. Like the moment I can maybe save a few shekels on that one, I think I'm gonna get it because I really like that demo.
1,000 Year Door.
I got that. That's one voucher.
Okay.
I bought 2 so that's one. Now I have one more. I'm holding on to a voucher, trying to figure out what to do with it. And it's basically I think I'm just holding on to it until Nintendo announces more games.
Yeah, that's probably smart if you got, you know, most other games in your pocket.
But I do want that Unicorn Overlord because I enjoyed the demo.
It's so
a great deal.
Yeah,
it's
the
really
demo's
good.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was like, this could be like potentially maybe my favorite Switch game of the year. I don't know. I got to get into it and see how much I like it.
It plays
from
really
the demo,
well
like
Switch.
It could be. Yeah, it's great. We don't have a ton of news, but we do have GDC this week and PAX, which was where Rebecca is hanging out with Jeff
we have
and
a person
everybody.
on the streets.
She's being, you know,
A
she's doing
superstar.
everything but going to the Grasshopper booth like I told her to do.
Oh my gosh.
She's on assignment. I need her to get to the Grasshopper booth and get me some swag.
Right.
But Nintendo was at GDC and there were some pretty cool things that I wanted to just read. So if you give me a minute, I got a couple paragraphs to get through. First off, Tears of the Kingdom won the Innovation Award as well as the award for Best Technology. Nintendo presented on the creative process for Mario Wonder and particularly how they surveyed the entire team for Wonder ideas. They talked about how do you make 2D Mario like new again? How do you come back with a new 2D Mario that does something different, right? Like it felt like very much like we don't want to have the new Super Mario Bros. Game again. We want to do something new. So they came up with this Wonder idea and they polled the team and they had 2,000 ideas that everybody wrote down on sticky notes that they put up on a board, and they started working through and prototyping all of these different ideas and to see which ones would go into the game. As a part of this, they talked about how game development has changed. And I think this is very apropos to the news that we're seeing right now in the development industry about how the teams are ever growing and ever expanding and bigger, and being able to manage those teams and get them pulling in the same direction with as little waste as possible is like that's maybe the most important job now, is making sure that people aren't just like stuck in like development creep. And but they showed off some of these crazy ideas that they had. They had one idea for a Mario surfing level where the entire level was like a wave and Mario was on the surfboard and you were surfing around. the other one that they had, and I wish they actually put it in, is they had one called Giant Blockhead Mario. So you have like a little Mario with this giant head made of blocks, and then the enemies could knock away at the blocks, and if they chipped all the blocks away to the last one, Mario died. And I was like, this is awesome. So they talked a lot about how many ideas they left on like the cutting room floor, if you will, which makes me think that we're probably get a sequel. They probably have a lot of things that they prototyped, or DLC. Yeah, something.
Mm-hmm.
Something could probably happen with that if they wanted to. There's also a Tears of the Kingdom panel where they covered the difficulty of pulling off their incredible physics engine. They explained that the philosophy with the sequel was something that they call multiplicative gameplay. The idea that you have action and objects come together to create countless possibilities, which again, we've talked about like the creativeness that is Tears of the Kingdom, kind of the whole, Roblox, Minecraft infused type of gameplay. Physics programmer Takahiro Takayama said the Ultra Hand prototypes entirely broke the game and described throwing a rock at a horse and everything just flying off into the atmosphere.
I love it.
And he had a funny thing. He was like, everybody, he explained in his presentation, he goes, everybody was terrified because the moment we started doing this, everything broke. And he was like, it's fine. We'll fix it later. And they just like kept working while everything was broken. They also discuss how the sound design is mapped because there's lots of different sound elements to the game. And essentially what they do is every surface in the game is rendered as a voxel on the back end. And think of like the way that I can imagine is think of like Minecraft blocks. So like every surface is a Minecraft block, and then each block represents like a different type of surface. So like if you're near a wall, the sound is different. If you're on grass, the sound is different. If you're on this, the sound is different. And that's how that's how they use the ability to like shoot up like through the roof above you. Is because everything's a voxels based, so they can program to like which ones you can do, which blocks you can do that, which one you can't.
That's cool.
And when they showed it like that, they showed the blocks and like the kind of the way it looks on the engine side, and that's kind of what the picture looked to me. And you just imagine how big that game is and how many things they programmed to be able to do that different stuff, and how the weather changes of the sound and how the sound reacts inside of rooms, outside of rooms. It's pretty impressive. It's crazy. Like that's the cool thing about GDCs. You get to see these things, and we don't really get another space where we get to see. Like I used to always love like the Iwata Asks things for this. Is I think we should get more insight into how games are actually made instead of like they're almost like precious secrets. I love GDC for that reason. I also love that. And I'm just gonna throw this one out there. If nobody saw it, I gained a lot of this off of Reddit and Twitter because there's not like live streams of it.
Right.
It's just people taking pictures. I love Nintendo's no desire to have a decent PowerPoint at all. They just throw like pictures on blank screens at GDC. I'm like, man, anybody like get them like Office 365 or like the Copilot in anything? Like try this. Like there's no style on anything. It's just black text, just picture. It's really funny. As somebody who I've made 1,000 PowerPoints and done presentations in front of all kinds of, important people and stuff. Like the idea of showing up at a conference with that is hilarious to me. I love it.
Well, I'm sure they know it's like, oh, everyone's going to go to the Nintendo panel. It's like, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. No, of course. Yeah. Yeah, it really doesn't. So there's something else that I gleaned out of GDC that I think is maybe more appropriate for PSVG because we do more business stuff there. So I wrote that over there. So you can, if you're interested in hearing more, make sure you listen to the show this week. But yeah, GDC was pretty cool for Nintendo.
Cool.
There we go.
Good for them.
Switch was the second best-selling console in February in the US, despite not having any game crack the top 10. Mario vs. DK was actually 11th. Mario Wonder was 15th, and Mario Kart Deluxe was 17th.
That's cool.
So yeah, good for Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I hope more people play it.
So PlayStation beat them?
Really like that game. Yeah, PlayStation was first. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, PlayStation 5 was first, and then
with Xbox.
Yeah.
We're done with Xbox.
Hogwarts and Just Dance were in the top 10, but of course they're not exclusive to Switch. So Hogwarts was 4th, and Just Dance was 6th.
Well, Hogwarts released on Switch in December. I
Mm.
believe.
Okay.
Like it was much later, and
Mm.
I guess it runs fine on Switch. I don't know.
That boy
Yeah,
count really worked out.
The thing that I remember, I sold Call of Duty. The thing that I remember about that is they broke their open world into like loading sections, so like almost like
Right.
open zones. So they actually changed the way the game runs to get it on Switch, which
Smart.
it is smart. It's more expensive. Like there's a reason why more developers don't do it. I wish they did though.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of that, I did buy a game that I played. I didn't even write it down. I played that Warhammer Daka game.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
forgot
okay.
about that one.
It's a space fighter, like a Star Fox Warhammer game. It literally looks like they just took the PC version and put it on the Switch. Like you have to cursor around with the thumbstick and everything to
Oh,
get to the
no.
menu. I was like, they literally were like copy paste. Like, can it run? It runs.
Good enough.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I paid $10 for it.
I
It's-
really hate when games do that. Like,
yeah, it's not my favorite either. So like I played it for about an hour and I was like, I don't think I'll probably ever play this again. You know,
mhm.
it's like one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Shadows of the Dam Hella Remastered was confirmed for Switch. There was some hesitation, maybe it wouldn't be on the Switch. It is coming to the Switch. It's playable at PAX this weekend. I hope Rebecca can
So
tell
go
us all
play it,
about when she
Rebecca.
comes back. And it's
She's
due
not.
sometime this year. So get excited.
Cool.
I'm gonna buy like 3 copies of that game.
What is Shadows of the Dam? I guess that's what
great.
I'm looking at.
Shadows of the Damned was meant to be like an iconic game. The idea was they got Shinji Mikami, Resident Evil fame, right? And Suda51 together to make a game.
Right.
Right. And it was like this action horror noir game. It stars Garcia Hotspur, right?
Yes. That's correct.
And yeah, and it's when I first played it, like I was super excited when this game was announced. And then when you get it, I was pretty let down because it's almost kind of nonsensical. But then there's like a mythos to this game, like a meta afterwards. Apparently, was it EA who published the game?
EA. Yeah.
Yeah, EA apparently cut a shit ton of content out of it.
Oh,
Like they cut the hell out of it. And Suda was pretty upset about it for like many years. He would talk about it. And I was like, oh, maybe that's why none of this shit makes sense. And but over the years, like I warmed up to it, right? Like I kept playing it, and you know, like you get nostalgic for things. It's, you know, it's a Suda 6, as Delvin might say. And now I'm somewhat kind of, you know, endearing to it. It's better than most of their other games.
I loved it.
Even on release, you loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was kind of has this Army of Darkness.
Yeah, it does.
Feel,
yeah.
Cheesy horror.
It's very cheesy. Yeah.
Very cheesy, silly, but it was really funny.
It's like a Western horror game.
Yeah. The weapons are ridiculous and powerful.
Yeah.
The characters ridiculous.
It looks stylish.
Very
stylish.
stylish.
It is. Yeah, it is very. You can play it back and pat. Like I've had it for years, playing it back and pat.
Oh, cool.
I think at some point it was delisted, and
Yes, it was.
and then a couple years ago, with Travis Strikes Again, when that came out on Switch, there's a whole chapter in that game dedicated to Shadows of the
cool.
Dam, which I was like through the roof. I was like, yeah, this is dope, because it almost felt like a pseudo sequel, like this little mini sequel that we never got.
Mhm.
And the moment that happened, I remember going nuts. I think maybe with Kevin or Elaine, whoever I was talking about the game at the time, and I was like, dude, they should do this. And then it was pinned on our Twitter profile, one of them. It was like a year or two ago. We were doing a stream with Sean, and they announced it. Like it was just in the pre-show. We're sitting there talking, chit-chatting, and out of nowhere comes Garcia. I was like, yo, Garcia, and they go remastered. And I was like,
I remember that.
yes, let's do it. And so apparently the game is getting close to being released. And yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited.
Cool.
I
Excited for
enjoyed
you.
the first one a lot.
Yeah.
That was really dumb fun game.
It grew on me. I remember, I think it was just, I got so hyped with these two creators that I love so much. I was expecting it to be so much more than it ended up being.
Yeah, it's a little darker than it's silly. It's like think of Ash versus the Evil Dead type of silly.
Yeah.
There's horror elements to it that are scary, but then there's a lot of comedy elements that kind of wash
I was
it away a little
expecting
bit.
more of a horror game.
Yeah, it's not a horror game.
I mean, it's Shinji Mikami, right? Like the moment, because it was the idea behind it was that Shinji Mikami was doing the game development and that Suda was doing the narrative. And they were mashing these two incredible styles together.
It plays more like a Shinji Mikami game.
Yeah,
but it has.
But it's not scary.
It's not scary at all.
There were several games that were announced for Switch this week. At the Future Games Showcase, that was also just popped out. Haunty, which is like this ghost adventure platformer game. It's coming to Game Pass, but it's also coming to Switch May 23rd. Void Rot is an action platformer coming out later this year. It just looks like Hollow Knight. Like, so if you were into Hollow Knight, like it just looks a lot like Hollow Knight. Mm-hmm. Tachia is dated for Switch this summer. Right. And then Feral North is a puzzle adventure game that I put on this list for Rebecca. I'm not sure if she listens to this podcast, but
no,
Feral North, it reminds me of Spirit of the North. You play as this border collie that like runs around and like flowers like kind of blooms. You run around. Yeah, dog game.
Cool.
So it comes out August 15th. And that's the news.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Let's get to some of these questions. I heard a whole bunch of stuff in the background. I'm like, is that coming from me? I don't think so, you know. Like somebody was arguing. Like, is that the hood? Like reacting? But I don't think it is. So our first question from Yarden, of course, I asked this question first. Worst gaming take Rebecca has ever had on the show. Which one of her opinions keep you up at night? Don't worry, she'll probably never see this in the episode. That is correct.
Yeah, it's a safe space. Talk shit. Talk shit, get shut.
I will just say her refusal to play Mario Wonder is insane to me.
That's true.
Like everybody
general dismissiveness of Mario overall.
Everyone telling her it's great, it's really good. We think you like it. He's like, nah.
She could care less.
She could care less. Like, hey.
Yeah. Like, nope, I'm gonna play this town farming sim game as a sparrow instead.
Yes. Yeah. People like, hey, we will buy the game for you. We like it that much. We think you're like, nah.
Yeah, it's a good
one. That's crazy to me. Yeah, I'm not a Mario fan, but I love Mario. I like the Mario games I've played. It's not that like I'm dismissing it or anything like that, but Rebecca's like, I'm just not going to play anymore.
Yeah. And we're like, we're buying the game, Rebecca. Just play it. We like it that much. Like, nah, cool.
Mine is not. It's not the worst take she's ever had, and it's a take that I think she shares with a lot of people. But the one that I think gets me, that I'm interested to see how it evolves over time, is when Tears of the Kingdom came out. Mm-hmm. She was like, "Breath of the Wild, who? Like, this game is trash compared to this other game." And like,
I remember that.
I don't agree with that much at all. Having played them both now, like, and I think I've talked about this before, but having played them both, there's something. Breath of the Wild had like a specialness in its moment, you know, like the running out on the cliffs, the lifting the towers, like the discovery, the novelness of it all, like discovering the starting from the branch, you know, to the wooden spear, to the rusty sword, to the knight's sword. Like that whole thing made that game, at least to me, makes that game feel special in a way that Tears of the Kingdom never could, because you knew it all going into it. Like, it had to be different, which I like that Tears of the Kingdom was different. I like that it was Ultra Hand and stuff. And there were moments Tears of the Kingdom was very special. Like, you know, being able to fly and stuff was pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing stones really at either one, but there definitely seemed to be, after, like, in the heat of Tears of the Kingdom, there was like an urge to dismiss Breath of the Wild that I just don't subscribe to.
It was a lot of people too.
Yeah, it was a very common take.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of just bought into the hype and was saying, "Oh, I remember a lot of people saying we don't need to play Breath of the Wild anymore."
Yeah,
the Kingdom. Like, I don't know if that's how that works.
And I think, like, going on into the future, I think I'm almost on the opposite. I'm the yin to that yang, because I think if I was to ever play one in the future, I think it'd be Breath of the Wild. Like, I don't think I would ever play Tears of the Kingdom again. And again, I love Tears of the Kingdom. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't have that. I don't know. There's like, I don't know how, like, that magical feeling. I don't really know how to describe it, but like just doing like the Great Plateau again, like there's just something.
Yeah, and I did play a little Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and it has a different pacing for sure. It's like you're just really wandering in that
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
It's slow.
it
It's
is
supposed to
slow.
be
It's
slow.
simple.
Yeah, it's simple too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for whatever reason, it's just imprinted on me differently somehow.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, I view it differently than she does.
Makes sense. One thing that really irritates me so much about her takes is this obsession over Stray. Now I understand that you
Garrett's
can
going for the juggler.
I understand you can like this game, you can love this game, but to say this is game of the year material in 2022 is just no. Objectively, you cannot say that. That's wrong. Like it's. You cannot put a game of the year. It's just there because everyone wanted that cute little cat indie game that looks really nice.
Sure.
Yeah, that's yeah. She was kind of obsessed over it. I'm like, I understand you like cats. I understand you like this game, but you cannot say this is game of the year masterpiece. It's like, no, not really. Like
I
it's
see
very
why
simple.
you're no longer on the show, Garrett.
I was just about to say, enjoy your last episode.
It all makes sense now.
Got her.
I like Stray okay. I agree with you, Garrett, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Glad that it beat it. I kind of wanted more once I reached the ending. The ending kind of gives you all of the narrative that I was kind of hoping was maybe more throughout.
I agree.
Got it.
Yep.
All right. Our next question is from Kyle the Pug. Fuck you, Kyle the Pug. Is Cody Rhodes considered to be Link trying to take down Roman Reigns considered to be Ganondorf? Or is The Rock considered to be Ganondorf? This is one of the nerdiest questions we ever got.
Roman Reigns is Link.
No, he's not Link.
He's Link.
No. Not absolutely not.
You could just split them. That's the easy one, right? The Rock is Ganon and Roman Reigns is Ganondorf.
Yeah. I don't know if I would go the Legend of Zelda route. I'd probably say it's more like Star Wars.
Yeah, nobody would, but this is Kyle.
Yeah,
Kyle does this every week.
If anything, it's more Star Wars. It's like
every week, Kyle is like, if you could eat a Nintendo character as a cake, which would it be and why? And you're like, what?
What's the logic behind that?
Yeah, there is none. There is none.
Oh
We just
goodness.
take these crazy questions and do with them what we can.
Yes.
Mhm.
If anything, it's more Star Wars. Rock's the Emperor. Roman is Vader. Cody is Luke. There you go.
That's pretty good. But then that really overshadows Roman. His reign.
And if you watch Star Wars, you know the story that in the end, Vader ends up killing the Emperor, not Luke. So
spoilers.
Yeah, the last episode of Star Wars. The last movie that exists.
the last one. There has been no more Star Wars content
no more Star Wars.
since that.
It's a fitting end.
Yeah. Fitting in for, what was it, 30-year-old movie series. Jeez, I feel old saying
It's
that.
crazy.
All right. Our next question is from TPR. He says, would you want to see a Mario Maker live service title from Nintendo? I'm usually against making franchises live service, but a level creator machine seems like it's worth making indefinitely rather than a sequel to a sequel basically of the same thing.
I've thought forever, for a long time now, that Mario Maker should be a phone game. You should put this thing on phones and tablets, and if even maybe PC, or at least like let them do it through BlueStacks or something.
Yeah,
this should be the game that you put on touch screens to let people draw Mario levels and play them. And then if you had a companion app that you could download and Switch, like think of like Nintendo Switch Online, and you could just download it and play those levels that people could play and make on their phones.
I agree.
Perfect series for that. And it's
Money
like
maker
perfect
right
for that. Yeah, 100%. You could charge people based on like how many like levels they create. Right. So you could like sell the game like $4.99 and then that gets you like 10 slots. And then if you want an additional 10 slots, it's like $1.99. And you make the money off the people that want to make hundreds of thousands of Mario Maker levels. And a lot of people just don't even want to do all that.
Yeah.
You know, and you just put that thing in Nintendo Switch Online. And I could so see kids making Mario levels on an iPad for days.
Yeah.
Like forever. It just makes so much sense.
Charge people for character skins that you can
Yeah.
add to the game. Charge people
Put an
for, like,
Android, put in a Chromebook, use a
people.
mouse.
Yeah.
It
Like-
would be interesting, yeah, if you can create the levels and then sell the levels at like a price, and then Nintendo
Oh, you
gets a
could like
cut of that.
Roblox.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get all the money we can out of these losers.
Yeah.
Keep
And the
it going.
creativity.
I think that their fear of that is it somehow lessening or encroaching in their actual Mario business.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Which is, you know,
Which is
selling
why they've
Switch.
always limited it to NES palettes and specific palettes and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you can just always, if somebody makes a really great Mario level, just hire them to make a Mario game for you. There you go.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, they're not.
They never do that.
They should. Like,
They'll
hey,
take you
this-
down first.
Yeah, they'll stop that from happening.
Like, nope, this is too good. Can't make this.
DMCA you.
We want our 2 million now. Thank
Yeah.
you. Goodbye. All right. Our next question is from John 32. He asked, what are your favorite games / genres to play while traveling, in flight, on the road, etc.? So what are some of your favorite games to play while you're traveling?
I mean, for me, it's pick up and play games. Like I was talking about earlier, like SteamWorld Dig, Retro Bowl, Mario, like things that you don't have to be, because your time is going to be limited, your attention's going to be limited. You've got to react to things that are going on. So things that are easily played in 10, 20-minute sections, you know, that are kind of phone-esque.
Yeah.
If you're on a long flight and you can actually dive in, then like the whole library, like just play Breath of the Wild and have a blast. But yeah, that's where I'm thinking.
Yeah, I usually like listen to podcasts or stuff like that when I'm flying or something like that. Because usually, if I'm on a car, I listen to podcasts. Because 9 times 10 I'm driving. When I'm on a flight, I don't want to be bothered. But the time when I'm like in a hotel room, I famously played Planet Alana that way and beat the whole game that way. And I had an amazing time with it.
Nice.
So things like that are kind of the games I kind of gravitate more towards. Games that you can beat in a few hours that are fun, engaging experiences that I don't want to put down.
Not surprising for me. I do play a lot of turn-based RPGs, and airplane rides are the perfect way to play them because you can just grind and, you know, you can put your mind into it, and then you don't have to be attentive to the screen the whole time. You can look around, do stuff. You don't really need to, you know, be glued to it. It's that, and it's also puzzle games. Like I played Picross 3D on the 3DS. So good. I wish they could make that game again, but they can't because it requires a touch screen.
Didn't they just release Picross?
Picross. So there's a lot of Picross 2D stuff on Switch. That's the classic Picross, but I'm thinking the 3D where it's like
the 3D.
It's a cube, and you like go around and rotate the cube and figure out what the kind of the piece looks like. It's really good on 3DS. And you can play left or right-handed. It allows you to do that. So yeah, it's mainly puzzle games and turn-based RPGs for me.
Nice.
All right, our next question is from Nick. He says, it's March 7th, 2025. You just opened up your new Nintendo Switch 2. What are you playing first?
Interesting.
I said it all like a movie code.
In a world.
In a world where you have your Switch 2.
What are you playing first, Garrett?
That's a good question. What's coming out during that time? Maybe Fire Emblem, the remake.
First thing I was thinking of.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to come in later this year. That doesn't seem like a launch Switch 2 game to me. That seems like a ode to the Switch 1 kind of game. Maybe
that'd be great
platform to Switch 2. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe if there's a Zelda game, like Wind Waker HD. I never played that, so that would be great.
I saw a fan rumor, a fan theory. It's not even a rumor. It's a fan theory on Reddit. I shared it in the Discord. I don't believe this to be true, but I appreciated the logic behind it. I think the guy put in some actual thought here. What if, air quotes, what if the Switch 2 like has some sort of docked checkerboard solution that does get an output to 4K or something.
Mhm.
A fan was like, I wonder if the reason we've never got the ports for Ocarina or Wind Waker is if they're saving it for that. And I was like, there's something to
Mhm.
that, at least in theory. I don't expect the Switch 2 to do 4K, but if it does, even if it's like 2K up res to 4, whatever,
Right.
I could see them being like, this is the first 4K Zelda game,
Right.
and it's like a show off of the system. You can play this game in 4K on Switch 2. I'm like, there's
There we
maybe
go.
something there. Yeah.
And Cal saying
interesting theory.
Pokemon Legends ZA. I would be down for that.
Okay.
I'd be so down for that game.
Pokemon Legends ZA.
I don't know why they
Zaza.
did that. It's so terrible.
It's going to get from the 360 to an Xbox One game.
And chug it like a 24 frames per second.
Yeah, it's still going to look the same. It's just
Game
their
weird.
engine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all hoping that there's a Mario game there or a Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That would be my
That'd be
answer. Mario
If
Donkey
there's
Kong.
not, I do want to say maybe there's a part of me that wants to go back to Breath of the Wild and do it all over again if it's like 60
4K.
frames and there's more stuff on it. And they did, like, if they really are like, let's show you the difference between these two games, and here's Breath of the Wild again, all done up. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to do that.
You know what?
That sounds dope.
I could see that.
What about
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3?
Well, for sure.
Well,
That's
let's
a
see
good
how
one.
this looks on here now.
Yeah, because Bayonetta 3 is pretty rough. I'd like to finish it. I would like to finish it at some point. So that would be great.
That'd be a good one.
They were talking about when they showed off the Switch 2 to developers using Breath of the Wild as a test, right?
Right.
They had 0 load times and 60 frame. Like, all of these things sound amazing. So that'd be dope.
Mhm.
Our next question from Deadman. Question for Shaq. With Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in theaters, is it
Ugh.
feel like if no one sees it, is it in theaters? What's your favorite Ghostbusters game from Nintendo? And do you think Luigi would make a good Ghostbuster?
Did Nintendo make Ghostbuster games?
I didn't know they made them.
They don't.
Yeah,
but I
neither
think
did
he's
I.
talking about favorite licensed Ghostbusters game that's on
Oh, that's
Nintendo
on
console.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
So this is I mean, like, this strikes a chord in my household because my wife and I, we went to the movies and she saw the trailer for Ghostbusters, whatever it's Empire, and I thought that trailer looked terrible.
Yes.
And she was like, I really want to see it. And I was like, that looks awful. I think Ghostbusters should have been left well enough alone. Like, the OG is great, and you just leave it alone, and they continue to like go back to that well and dilute the series. And I can't particularly say that I'm fond of any actual licensed Ghostbuster game. So
I will say there's one that I think is really good. I would say
I'd much rather play Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, me too.
That's the best Ghostbusters game. But the Ghostbusters, I think it's called Ghostbusters, the video game. The one that came out that's, like, technically speaking supposed to be part 3 of the movie series. That is really good.
I think I have that.
That one is really good. It's on Switch. I think Ghostbusters the video game remastered is the one on Switch.
Yeah, I have that.
And
I
it's
got
really
that
good.
I'll just say I have it. Leave
Yeah.
it at that.
That's about it. Like, and as far as the Ghostbusters movies, Ghostbusters is a franchise they should have stopped after 2, or
Yeah.
just
Leave
went
it
a different route. Ghostbusters is something that they should have probably like, all right, we done made 2 of them. We can make this a franchise, but just do it with different people. But that should have happened like 20, 30 years ago. Bringing
it's
it back
too late.
now, it's like kind of too late. It's like,
They keep trying to bring the OGs back. They keep trying to pass the baton, and they keep screwing it up, which
Yeah.
makes it worse.
yeah, they should have just passed it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, know what it feels like? Ghostbusters feel like a franchise. If they was to bring back and like get all like let's say it was the 90s. If they had to bring Ghostbusters back in like late 90s and they would have had like Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, and someone else as Ghostbusters, it probably would have been like a huge, ridiculous hit.
Yeah.
Like
might be
around
right.
that terror. But
Yeah,
now it
because we
feels
had
like,
a lot of like licensed stuff. You got like the Men in Black tie-ins and stuff like that.
yeah, it'd have been like
Yeah.
this would have been like a Will Smith joint. Like, all right, here's the new Ghostbusters movie starring Will Smith, and the people are like, oh, this is amazing. They brought Ghostbusters back.
Just wait for The Rock and Kevin Hart to show up in Ghostbusters 80,
You know what? That could probably work.
Ghostbusters 10.
Just put The Rock in and Kevin Hart. Like, here you go, and don't make it connect to the original trilogy.
I think it'll work for somebody. It ain't gonna work for me.
Make it a franchise. But
I'm not watching that.
Now it just feels like, all right, we keep trying to make this a thing, and based off of the sales, it's not gonna be
You
a thing.
think it makes like the recipe is there? Paul Rudd, kids from Stranger Things. Like, yeah, this should work.
Yeah,
But
I don't think Ghostbusters has that pistache anymore. Like people like Ghostbusters, but they like the first two Ghostbusters movies.
I never
I
hear
think it's
about Ghostbusters.
I think it's the people.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters was Ghostbusters because of Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and stuff like
Yes.
that. And
Mhm.
I think when you try to remove it from them, it's just not. It's not the same. It's not as compelling.
It's like trying to make a Kiss album without Kiss.
Yeah, and I don't think Will Smith fixes that problem either.
Well, definitely not now.
There are certain people that just them make the role, right? They are like ubiquitous with that role and that performance, and it's always going to live in the shadow of that.
I think there was an era you could have got away with it. That era is not now. Like,
Yeah, I think maybe as like a one-off.
Yeah.
It's just like a completely different reboot, like one-off, sure.
Yeah.
But not as a franchise you keep trying to spit things out into.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think Ghostbusters movies, the first two are good, but
Mm-hmm.
it's time to end it. Time to wrap it up, homie. That's it. We don't need no more. And I'm probably gonna watch this new one. I thought the last one was okay.
Yeah, so did she. I remember the first time I saw the trailer, there's like 10 seconds into the trailer before you realize it's a Ghostbuster movie. I was like, is this a new End of the World movie? We're like throwing ice down on the beaches and impaling people? Like, I'm here for that. And then I'm like, oh, never mind. They're out here fighting old man winter and shit. Like, this is stupid.
This is the thing. I thought the last one was really good. I thought the ending of the last one was really positive, powerful, and I thought it was a positive way to end the series. But then they're like, oh, we have another one coming. Like, why? You don't need another one. Now, the way you ended this one was perfect. Leave it at that.
Because you went to see it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You went to see it, and they're like, let's get them to come see another one.
My bad, y'all. This is on me. This is legit on me. Like,
this is just the movie industry now. Every time they hit on anything that seems good, they're like, 8 more of them. Like, let's run it back. Let's do it again. And, they just drive things into... You can't just make one and dones anymore.
Because I remember when I went to go see it, because when Afterlife came out, I remember people saying, oh, I didn't want to go see it, but I'm like, oh, you have to see it because the ending is amazing. And I watched it like, oh, the ending was really good. And they're like, oh, they're doing another one. Like, well, that kind of defeats the point of the ending of the last one.
I never watched it.
Yeah, the ending is really good. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, you'll love the ending.
And that's the thing. I don't think I am.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the problem. All right. Our last question from G-Man. It's spring, technically still winter. And the only thing you can do is play one video game. What is that game and why?
I don't play things like seasonally. Is it like this spring? Like this? If I can only pick like one game to play like in the next couple months, like this spring?
I'm assuming it's winter and you can't go get other games, so you're going to only play this one game. Like
the game that I'm like most looking forward to playing on the near future is Rock Band 4 with this new damn guitar that I pre-ordered. So like I can't wait for this guitar to get here and me to jump back into that and start playing that a bunch.
That's a good one. A lot of replay value.
Yeah.
Play that one all day.
Like I'm gonna play Guitar Hero today because I'm just like in the mood. Like I'm just kind of jonesing. Like I don't think my guitar arrives until the end of April. So I've got like 4 or 5 weeks before it actually gets here. And I'm just like I haven't played in a few years now because my kids quit playing, and suddenly just getting the idea of getting a new guitar after all this time like has me so excited. Like we talked about it for a long time, like with Activision, Xbox buying them, like could they do a Guitar Hero? You literally have a maker right now that's just making guitars. Like you just make the game and they have your guitar. So like just let them do it.
Let them do it, keep making them.
Yeah, even license them. Like put an Xbox faceplate on that thing or something. Like that we were always thinking that you could never do another Guitar Hero because making guitars is too expensive. You literally have a third party doing it right now for Fortnite. Just ride those coattails.
Yeah.
Like just as long as they're making them, just make one. Like to me, this makes a lot of sense. So I'm really excited. And yeah, that'd be my pick.
What's your pick, Garrett?
So it's a game that we would play in the winter. Is that
No,
it?
it's spring.
A game
I'm
that
taking it as like it's spring right now. What are you
Okay.
playing? Like, what is the one
can only
game
play
if
one
you had to
game.
play for the next few months? What do you want to play?
I see. It's Dragon's Dogma 2.
It's Dogma.
And
That's what
it's going to take a long time with this game to fully digest, to fully go through. I hear like you can be at least 100, 120 hours and you can still just do stuff in this game.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's cool.
yeah, no, I'm here for it because it looks so good. And the thing is, it's very different from Skyrim where you're pretty limited with fast traveling. So you really got to plan out your.
Yeah, we keep
you know,
hearing about that. There's lots of conjecture. People are angry on the internet right now about Dogma.
Well, if you look at the reviews are great. He's like, hey, play the game because this is how it's kind of meant to be played. And then you see all these microtransactions and people are freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Capcom ripped this off. And it's just like,
Now that I can believe. No, that is not the
That's
part
not shocking
that
at
surprised
all.
me at all.
well, okay.
Anybody that played Devil May Cry, we know Capcom is going to Capcom. It is, as an outsider, it is the things that I hear, fast travel being one of them, but not necessarily. They're selling an extra slot for a new character. Like I keep seeing
is
that a
that
lot.
it?
People are like, you can't re-roll a character unless you buy this microtransaction or delete your entire game. And I'm like,
That's
that
rough.
fucking sucks.
You know,
That is some bullshit, Capcom. Come on, man.
that's true. I think, but I think you have the option to change your appearance and also change your vocations.
Right.
throughout the
Yeah.
game. So it's not like you really need to delete one unless you really just want to restart the
I
game.
was thinking like workarounds, like could you just add another local profile to your console like you do on Switch? And
you could.
because like Zelda only has one save, but you could just add another. I have a Zelda alt profile on my Switch.
Right.
To just play in different, to do a different save. You could do something like that, right? There are
Right,
ways of getting around it, but I am not. There are a lot of people. Every time there's outrage on the internet, there's people that are outraged. Then there's the people that are outraged that people are outraged, telling them to not be. On this one, I think I'm squarely like right in the middle. Like I think the outrage is maybe a bit too harsh, but at the same time, I'm not mad that these people are voicing an opinion because I do think. I think
it's egregious.
Well, because it's like if you don't say anything, if you just like quote unquote don't buy it, then you're kind of letting Capcom off the hook while allowing them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's necessarily like that's not good like customer feedback.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Like
I understand.
They don't have we don't really as customers have a way of really impacting or like letting our voices be heard outside of making noise. So I'm actually all for them making noise. I don't mind the fast travel and stuff like that. That's totally fine with me. I also would totally I probably would buy shit like that. Like I think I did it in Resident Evil. When I was playing Resident Evil 4, I think I bought like a gun or something. I was like, I want this boomstick like right now.
Yeah.
Here's $2.99. So like I'm not opposed to that either. Like cosmetic upgrades or like little boosters. Assassin's Creed does that, right? You can get like
Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft is a big thing.
I'm not opposed to that either. If you want to pay to speed up your game, that's cool. Extra save states, characters, fast, like these are things that you expect to be in the game. And I would hate to see a future where like, hey, give us $3.99 for the Master Sword. Like I would hate to see stuff like that become the norm. So
that'd be funny.
Yeah, I think they went a little too far, but at the same time, I'm not even focusing on those microtransactions, and I won't delete my game.
Yeah.
But I understand that aspect for sure. But Steam's gonna Steam. They're gonna
100%. And to be honest with you, they're the only people that can. Like Valve has allowed customers a place to like actually make a difference, where we've got reviews on Xbox that nobody ever sees or knows. They're just hidden away, tucked in the bottoms and corners of pages.
They're less than 100 reviews easily.
Like where the Steam score and the ratings, it's right there next to the game, next to the label and everything you see. And that community, of course, people can they'll bend it, when they're angry. But I think the community overall really utilizes that system. Yeah. Like you see it when things get changed or bettered, you see that score turn around. It's not just like Metacritic user scores. There's more to it than that. So
yeah. Cool.
Baldur's Gate.
What are you, Delvin?
Baldur's Gate 3. That's
Yeah.
a good choice. Very
Yeah.
good choice.
Give me time to play that 200-hour game and kind of get into it. Everybody keeps talking about it. Everybody loves it, and it's something that if I have the time, I can sit down and play. If I have nothing else to play, that's a good one to just get down, sit down, and play and not be
High
bored.
replay value for sure. Like
Yes.
you're not going to get the same playthrough every time. And
That's kind of why I'm enjoying Red Dead at the moment. I have this moment in time, like this run here, where there's nothing really Nintendo related on the near future. Same thing for Hellblade. Like I don't have to worry about Xbox until May, so we don't really have a whole lot of games out at the moment.
That's true.
So it's a perfect time for me to just like mess around with Red Dead as much or as little as I want to, because I'm not feeling like I'm lacking somewhere else, like I've got to play or I'm behind or anything like that. Like I can just kind of play at my own pace. So we have more games that are coming out. So I'm enjoying. Now's the time, Delvin.
I agree. Might be.
Till Thousand Year Door and Hellblade comes out, and then all these games start releasing on top of each other again.
In May, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Time is up. Time is now. Can't see.
Time is now.
Time is now.
We actually can't see you.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it this episode of the Nintendo Shack 317. Thanks, Garrett, for dropping in.
And, thank you for inviting me.
Playing the roles back.
Yeah.
You're over there in the RPG cave, Carpool.
Yes.
Why don't you plug that and let everybody know how they can watch that?
Sure. We go live typically on Monday nights. Oh man, it's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oof.
But it actually works out because Ryan is done with work like at the end of his shift during that time, and it's perfect time for me because I'm West Coast.
Yeah.
And we just really hang out like just me and Ryan just talk about RPGs so much, and then we go off the rails too. A lot. So if you're down with that, you can go over to Carpool Gaming on YouTube. Carpool Gaming Live, I think. I don't know. They have like games and live and stuff like that. And there's a Patreon with Carpool Gaming as well if you want to check that out over there. And then you can also follow me on Twitter, and I'll still keep calling it Twitter at Blend Explosion. And I'm I'm still very active in the PSVG Discord. Just talk with me, hang out. Portable Pros Discord channel is like probably my most watched channel, my most read. It's a very exciting time with the portable space. So
I got to get one of those. I think I'm going to get one. I'm just not exactly sure. I keep leaning towards like the POW Kitty or the
POW Kitty,
the Retroid Pro. I want a better emulator, preferably Android, but it doesn't have to be. I want a slightly better Android or a slightly better emulator machine, but that has dual sticks. Like I love the Mii Mini Pro, but the lack of the dual sticks robs me on some of the games that I would play.
Got it.
So that's where I'm kind of, I keep looking at it. Like we just had the Ambernick one that's got the dual sticks, but it might be a little less powerful than I want it to be. And it's like a little bit more.
What do you want
it
to play? Like PS2 games? Or
if it could, that'd be great. But here's the thing. I don't want to spend a lot either. So that's why I'm waiting. Like I'm kind of in the 100, 150 range. If I can get something like that, then I can put like GameCube, PS2 things, and like I'm not looking to up-res them or anything. Just play them, just nicely play them and have them like in my pocket, something I can keep in my backpack. Yeah, I kind of want something like that.
The Retroid Pocket 4, not the Pro version, but the regular 4, I think is pretty good. I would check a review on it though.
Okay.
Because the with emulation, it's a hit or miss on a lot of them. But I think with 4 base, you can get most GameCube and PS2 games.
Like I want to play like in my head, and I have the Ally, but like again, the Ally, it's so big, the battery life. What I want is a simple machine that I can play like Midnight Club, Clock Tower, NCAA football, and Hot Shots Golf on.
Right.
And like if I can just do that at any moment, like I'm good. I can just do that for a while. And like my little Game Boy gets me there. Like my little Ambernick is close, but the lack of a dual stick holds it back.
Got it.
So I just need the dual stick. I need the dual stick version of that machine. And
it's getting there, man. It's like the price and
I don't think I have to wait too long. Like I said, I keep watching it. Like every month the new models come out, they keep pushing the old ones down. I would have got the Retroid, but like they're still like $250-ish, and I'm like, I just need that price to come down. I just need that to come down a little.
I think the Retroid Pocket 4 regular is below 200. But I understand. Like that's probably your best bet. And I think they will have a more ergonomic, cheaper version, or they'll just bring down the prices of
But at the
Pocket
moment,
4.
like my gaming Chromebook is that. Like I got that gaming Chromebook
Right.
that I shared, and like it's doing all of that. And I'm like, this is great. Now I just needed to do this in a handheld, and like
Right.
I'd be set.
You're good.
Something I could do in the car would be great.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. Delvin, awesome, man. We'll see you Wednesday night. And then
Right.
once again, Garrett, thanks for coming by. And everybody, thanks for hanging out. I'm sure Rebecca will be back next week. We can hear her tell us all about Grasshopper and her time with Shadows of the Damned. I'm sure she's going to talk about how she spent 10 hours there at that booth. This is right down her alley, right?
I bet.
Anyway, we'll catch you next week. See you, Kooplings.
Bye-bye.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?